What's going on, everybody? We're dumb. It's all right. So what's going on, everybody? I got Rick in the studio tonight. I finally convinced him to come over for the live stream.
I'm here, back in action.
Back in action. So we've been playing around. If you guys haven't been paying attention on Instagram, we spent the day playing around with a new mulcher head that FAE has graciously sent our way for us to do a review on for them. And so we spent, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours today digging around with that.
Then we started doing some little videos, hooking up, changing fittings, different machine. What were we doing? We were wiping her down.
Yeah, we got her polished up because we had to take all of our pre-roll video for the review video we're going to do on it. So we had to do all that. Then we threw it on the machine, which required...
Then we threw the framer in it.
Yeah. So Totten, for those of you guys who listen to Sweat and Grime, which all of you should listen to Sweat and Grime, go look it up on any podcasting platform. We got Totten in the seat. He ran his first mulch head today. We got video of that. So that's what we've been up to.
Yeah.
I do want to give a quick shout out to Colton McCormack. Again, you guys should listen to Sweat and Grime. We had him on, what, a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
And he's from
Wrench.
Certified Wrench podcast. He's from the Dallas area, works for a contractor working on cat and deer equipment, and he's got a really good podcast, so go check him out. And then the other topic of discussion for tonight, if we want to, is the Whodig, which if you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, again, you should be following me on Instagram. Hang on, let me pull up a picture of the Whodig.
It's a Swiss Army knife on steroids.
It's one of the, I will say it's the coolest machine I've run in my career to date. That is the Whodig. It's not a backhoe. It's not a loader. It's a Whodig. So anyway, that is why, if you recall, last weekend we didn't have a podcast. It's because the week before I was down in Illinois learning how to run that beast. Because we're going to get one shipped up here to us to review for what, probably at least a week or so.
Yeah, a week or two.
In the next month and a half.
Yeah.
So
trying to find the right job for it though, because this thing is so versatile and unique that it would shine with like a road commission or some kind of road work. The attachments that this thing has, I mean, it's able to run 3 at the same time with like a loader bucket, a flail mower, a man lift, a tilt rotator bucket.
It's ridiculous. This thing it will make you reprogram your brain on how to run a piece of equipment. You can't run it like a backhoe. You can't run it like a loader. It's its own machine. You almost have to learn it from scratch.
You got to learn to think outside the box when you run this thing.
Yeah, you cannot think like a traditional American when you get in the seat of this thing. It is a European machine. You have to think about it from that direction. But once you do, the stuff this machine can do is absolute insanity. It is crazy. So anyway, all that to say, let's get into the comments. So we got Darren. Rick was asking Darren, what part of the country are you from? That's Landmark Property Solutions. Good to see you. We got Andrew Ruggiero. I never know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, but it's good to see you, my man. Totally ran my phone over with a mini excavator the other day, but it still works. Wow. She bent and cracked to hell, though. I took out one of my old Androids in a backhoe. It bounced out of the cup holder. It was an open cab.
I dropped a Nextel 5 stories.
Ooh, there you go. Did it survive? It's a Nextel. It did,
so it's split open, but it still beats.
Still beats. That's the Nextels. Let's see here. Brandon Culpepper.
What is going on?
My man. Brandon's in the process of interviewing for an apprenticeship for one company and possibly a full-time position at another company. Finally getting into the dirt world.
Congrats, Brandon.
My man.
Stepping it up.
Absolutely. Let's see here. We got heavy equipment operator 97, which I believe is Ryan. What's going on? Good to see you. And we got Bobby Rabaglia. How's it going, man? I'm glad you guys look forward to the live streams. Unfortunately, last week we skipped out, but we are back. We are finally back. So, excuse me. It's all the weed smoke. Richard, what's going on? The weather has not been good here either. In fact,
it's been rainy and cold and a little snow.
So I spent a week in Texas, 85 degrees, perfect sunshine. And the night we got back to Michigan, we had an ice storm. And it's not stopped raining since. Like, it's rained every day since.
No, the ground's saturated right now.
We're supposed to get rain all this week. It's just Michigan's
cold, it's
spring.
wind, no leaves.
It's miserable.
It's cold.
Yeah. So anyway, Matt, Dignation21, go check out his channel. If you don't already subscribe to Matt's channel, go check him out. No problem on the working and commenting, and dude, I totally understand it. Because you're training a puppy on top of that. Dude, I totally understand, and I need to apologize to you for the same thing. Because I have not been watching and commenting nearly as much because I have been swamped. So no hard feelings, my man. I'm glad you made it out though, Matt. It's good to see you. Let's see. Whoop, whoop. Where are we at? So we've got how was your time on the equipment? So Richard, the time on the equipment was fantastic. So that Whodig, I got to spend an entire afternoon basically learning the machine. And the whole goal with this trip wasn't to get me like really up to speed and proficient at it. It was more make sure that I knew how to run it, because I don't have a picture of the controls of the cab. It's insanity. Like, you start it with a push button. I forgot to tell you that part. So you start that machine, so you turn the ignition on, but you start the machine with a button on your armrest, and it's not labeled. It's just F7. So you have to push F7 to start the engine. So like, this is
That's the Whodig.
Yes, the Whodig. Yep. That's how different this machine is than anything we have over here. So you have two joysticks on the armrests of your chair, one on each side. Each joystick has a rocker on it. That's how you're controlling your rototilt bucket. Then you've also got these little gear things that you turn at the base. And depending on what function you're going for, the right-hand side actually controls a bucket function. The left-hand side is your steering wheel. So when you are in work mode, it limits the machine to a top speed of, I think, 15 or 17 miles an hour, which is still ridiculous when you consider you're driving the thing backwards at 15 miles an hour. But that's your steering wheel. You're no longer using the steering wheel up here. You're using this little gear right here. It is a freaking awesome machine. So I had to go learn all of the buttons, all of the switches, because the other thing that the Europeans do that we don't like to do over here in America is you have a lot of functions that are dual or triple function buttons or switches. Depending on what's clicked over here, that's going to determine what this button does over here. So I had to learn all of that before they send me a machine. So all that to say, I think I spent about 3 hours or so in the cab of this thing doing video work, because we wanted to introduce the machine. I'm working on editing that for you guys right now. But I spent about 3 hours doing video work, but really just kind of learning the ins and outs of the machine, and it is awesome.
You think you can install some pipe and clear some land now with Whodig?
I think within 3 days of being in the seat of that thing, we will be pretty dang proficient at it. And then from there, it will take us a month to really totally wrap our brain around how to utilize it.
Now, is it a backhoe?
It is not a backhoe. It is not a backhoe. It looks like a backhoe. Everyone's gonna, all of the Americans go, that's just an overpriced backhoe. It's not a backhoe. I thought the exact same thing. The second you get in this machine, you figure out it is not a backhoe.
It was impressive to see it down in Florida. So
Rick, I'm really excited for Rick, because Rick hasn't gotten to run it. He was not able to go down there with me. He's only gotten to sit in it at the trade show. He hasn't gotten to run it. And what I get to do is I get to explode Rick's mind. And that's what I'm really excited for, because someone spent 2 hours exploding my mind down in Illinois, and it was, I don't think I've been that excited about running a piece of equipment since I first started running equipment. Like, that's how different this machine is.
You come complacent. It's like getting a new attachment.
You do. It's another
new machine.
It's another
the
loader.
Excitement's there for the 8 hours, the 10 hours, and it's just like, all right, grease it, feel it, and got a heated seat, right?
And once you learn how to run a piece of equipment and you're really an expert at it, like, you learn little things throughout the day that kind of add to your skill set, but you're not blowing your mind every day. And this machine takes you back to square one. It literally blows your mind. A great example is the guy is training me on how to run this thing. You spend 80% of your time in this machine driving it backwards. It's made to drive backwards while you're operating the backhoe portion of it. And so my first instinct, this guy goes, hey, are you all good? I'm going to get out of the cab. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I'm going to go over there and dig. And I'm spun around using the back arm. And as soon as he jumps out of the cab, my first instinct, every American's first instinct, I go to reach down so I can spin my seat around.
Right.
And I had to stop, and I was like, because first of all, on that thing, it's a button to spin your seat, which is awesome.
Right.
Makes you feel really techie. But then also, I was like, I don't have to turn around. I will just drive the machine. Didn't have to use the steering wheel that's behind me. Just use my little gear right here. Drove myself over to my dig area, and while I'm moving, I'm starting to dig. Like, it's awesome.
Fascinating.
Awesome machine. So anyway, I know that was a very long-winded answer, Richard, but it was that good. It was worth it. Let's see here. We've got Ryan Garrett. Hey, Brian and Rick, how's it going? You'll never guess what I discovered this week. Apparently, there's a small excavation contractor about 5 minutes away that owns a JCB backhoe.
Oh.
You know what? Pay him some money and see if that guy will let you climb up in that JCB, and then you can give us all, I don't even care if you record it with your cell phone, give us all a formal review of your JCB backhoe experience.
Just remember, you could film it and junk can break, so get the whole episode.
Junk can break, junk company from Britain. There's so many ways we can go with that. All right, so let's
Someone's
see here.
acknowledging my cat hoodie.
Where'd you see that?
I don't know.
Hang on,
Somewhere
you're skipping. My God.
I know.
So Brandon says double trouble. That's right. Or it's,
Double trouble.
I mean, when we start the episode with us doing the shooter figures,
You
at
know
the camera,
what? You know what we should do next time?
what's that?
We should have a Hitachi fight.
That would be really expensive. I want to say those are like 150 a piece. That's $300.
Well, if they could donate, we could do
That's
a
true. We
Hitachi
could
fight.
donate. We could do a Hitachi giveaway.
Yeah.
Diesel and Iron Hitachi giveaway coming to you soon.
Only used once.
Only used once. Andrew, to answer your question, the backhoe on steroids video, you're gonna have to give me a couple weeks here because I do have to edit through that footage. We got a lot of B-roll type footage that I have to go through and sort and kind of put the video together. I'm hoping, and the problem is, I came back from Illinois, immediately went to Texas, just got back from Texas on Wednesday, have been playing catch up. We just got our FAE head drop, so we had to go take video of that.
Yeah.
The FAE guys are actually, all of the executives are coming into town tomorrow, and they're going to record a podcast live with us on Tuesday. So, all that to say, like, I have not
It's a
had
blitz.
time. It has been
It's been a
an
blitz.
absolute blitz. By the way, we have officially signed our first sponsor for Diesel and Iron. Chevron is now sponsoring Diesel and Iron. So that has been a whole other thing going on in the background that, you know, you guys have no idea that's even rolling. But that's been a phenomenal amount of work coordinating with those guys and working out details of what the sponsorship entails. So
2 years. 2 years of trudging.
yes, 2 years of trudging, and we have
Working.
finally officially signed a real legit, like, heavy hitter sponsor.
Right there, big guy.
Yeah, man, I'm
Right
excited. Yeah. So,
And it's all
that
been
to say-
because of the guys that watching the YouTube.
Absolutely, it's
So-
all because of you guys. I mean, this whole channel, we're about to hit 20,000 subscribers, which, you know, looking at this, even a year and a half ago, I just thought that's way down the road. I'm never gonna get there, but you guys are totally rocking it. I'm super excited at the growth. So thank you guys. But that's yet another thing in the background that has been going on. So I have not had time to edit that footage yet. So I'm gonna guess it's gonna be 2 or 3 weeks before that footage comes out, which I'm hoping will get you guys drooling in anticipation, because it is that badass. But it is coming, I promise. Bobby Rabaglia, we talked smack and call Rick names last week, and the week he's on the,
Oh,
the
you
next week
did?
he's on. Absolutely, I told
Give me
you,
the
we,
replay.
We talk
Give me
about
the
you all.
replay.
I don't even remember what it was, but
Ah,
we talk about you all the time on here.
good and bad, huh?
See, and Matt acknowledges you're in on the OnlyFans thing.
That's right.
Yeah. And, oh, here you go, Ryan. Ryan called you out on the cat. He said he thought you were a case guy.
Well, yeah, this is when the cat guy tried to come out and sell me some equipment, and I said I'll just take the hoodie.
But I did a better job.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah. I like the orange. What
Yeah.
can I say?
There you go. Robert Lockwood. So Robert Lockwood right there is
Yeah.
the guy over in Washington that owns a Whodig.
Nice.
Yes. So if you guys, you need to go over on Instagram. If you guys are on Instagram and you want to see some badass Whodig stuff,
What's he doing with the Whodig over there?
well, tonight he's actually in the Whodig. He is watching from the Whodig at the moment. And he is
Right on.
cutting in. He's doing a big basement dig, he said. He's doing some deep utility work, and I can't remember what the third thing is. You know what? Do me a favor. Where is it? Robert Lockwood. Put your Instagram handle down in the comments for us, Robert, so that we can go follow along and see what you guys are doing, because it is freaking awesome. He's one of the only private contractors in the US right now to own a Whodig, and it is awesome what he's doing with it.
That's
so go
awesome.
check him out. Ryan, yes, it comes standard with a tilt rotator. It comes standard with auxiliary hydraulics on the front bucket so that you can set up a broom or a grapple 4-in-1. Like, the number of attachments for this Whodig is incredible. I would highly advise you guys go check out. In fact, I'm just going to put it in the comments. Go look up Muddy Mary Whodig on YouTube, and you will just begin to unlock the amazing secrets of what Whodig is capable of.
Well, that book that Hans had down there was unreal.
It's unreal what
it was like 200 attachments of all sorts of wildness. So
it's insanity. Let's see here, Nick. I want to see the joysticks on that bad boy. So when we get it here for the formal review, I'm gonna do a whole in-cab tour. We're gonna go through the buttons. I'm gonna do a whole series of down and dirties just on how to run this machine, because everyone's gonna try to run it like a backhoe. And I think that's Whodig's biggest hurdle here in the US when it comes to selling this machine, is no one's giving it attention because they think it's just a backhoe, and they don't realize that this you can't look at it like a backhoe. It's not a backhoe. It is its own classification of machine. It's kind of like the Minotaur coming out. It's not a skid steer. It's its own thing. You have to run it as its own thing.
you're about to start seeing in the next 10 years all sorts of wild equipment coming out to the American market. We're so far behind the ages.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You look over Europe, dude. They are just kicking our ass with their equipment.
We got Colton in. Look at that.
Oh, Colton.
Certified wrench. Certified wrench is here in the comments, guys. That's either Colton or Kate or both.
Yeah.
Kate is his wife. We've had her on as well. So Colton and Kate,
How's it going?
Thanks for showing up, guys. Appreciate it. Let's see here. And I agree. This shirt is fire. This will give Colton something to look at later. Woo, baby.
That's going to be his new stamp on his podcast.
That's right. With you rubbing my nipples. Robert says, can't wait for you to get one. Ours is a game changer. I'm going to tell you right now, Robert, neither Rick or I are fortunate enough to be able to purchase a Whodig.
No.
That's why we have to work this angle so that we can get it for free and experiment.
And you got the price point, and then you got to buy all the attachments for this thing.
Yeah.
That's some deep pockets there.
Absolutely. So, but I will gladly accept one anytime Hans wants to send one my way. So
yeah, get in a candy store.
So Darren answered your question of where he was at. He's between Kingston and Ottawa, Ontario. So he's up in the Canadian market.
Just across the pond.
Just across the pond. Ryan Pearson, 54. Thanks for hanging out. Haven't seen you in here before. Any advice on dealing with a very bad foreman? Hit it, Rick.
I would just honestly be a little more straightforward with them and address the situations and the issues and a little bit, put your bitch emotion feelings away, I guess is the way I'd put it, and do it more as a formal man-on-man conversation. Pull them off to the side. Don't blow up in front of the guy. A lot of these foremen are going through a lot of stuff, stress. It takes a lot to run the job. So just face them and talk to them. Don't do it on the company time while you're getting paid. Either do it before or after. And then just have that conversation of, hey, this is bothering me, or what's going on. And kind of just get to the root of the problem and see if you could solve it. And, if you can't solve it, see if you could get switched to another crew. If that's not an option down the road, you could always quit and find another job. It's a rock and a hard place sometimes, but once in a while you do got to address the situation and deal with that foreman, if that makes sense. So don't go it the wrong way, and don't hit the panic button and get all puffy and go at it with him. Just talk to him like a human being, because realistically, maybe he's not coming off as an arrogant asshole in his own opinion. Maybe he's just blindsided, or he has personal issues going on outside of work. So just address it. It's the elephant in the room. nobody really likes to talk about, but talk about it. I mean, that's the best way to try to get past something. And just be a decent human being about it, however it turns out. I mean, if he decides to spitball and fire, just kind of let it roll. And then just know that maybe this ain't the right fit, because not every foreman, not every company, not every crew is the right job for you, but there is one out there.
So yeah, just to kind of reiterate that, I won't call you a bitch. I mean, Rick came on a little strong, calling you a bitch, but don't be a bitch.
Right.
But no, in all honesty, if you got a foreman that you're really having some issues with, the first thing I would do is, in an appropriate setting, maybe at the end of the day, say, hey, can I talk to you? I don't know what the issue is. You seem to be having some problems with me or whatever. I'd appreciate it if you weren't talking to me in that manner. If you tell me what you want, I am happy to do it. But I don't appreciate the tone that you're talking to me. And if it becomes an issue after that, what I'll say there is, we are in demand as operators right now. Yeah. So you don't need to stay at that company.
No.
I don't know what the word was I was searching for, but
the thing is, maybe you're not understanding something. Like I said, we don't know what the problem is. Maybe there's a step that you're not understanding, or maybe he feels you should be further down the road on something that you're doing. If there's something that comes up, ask him to show you or explain it. Go in depth a little bit, because sometimes working with somebody, we don't think the same.
Yep.
Right? So I could think you're way down the road doing something, accomplishing it the correct way that I would do it. Then I get there and you're an hour behind. So sometimes, you could be overthinking a problem too. That's really not a problem. Just dig into it a little bit and just, like I said, do it off of the clock.
Yeah, off of the clock at the appropriate time.
You're getting paid for a wage, and that's some of the biggest things on this industry is the testosterone gets flowing, right? And then all of a sudden you're blown up on the job, and it's not worth it. Just do it before or after time. Be respectful.
Yep, absolutely. So, and like I said, you don't need that job at the end of the day if you do have enough run-ins, and if he is unwilling to budge, he's just, and we've all worked for him. There are superintendents and foremen out there that are just assholes, and they don't know anything other than how to scream.
Yep.
Fuck them. I mean, go someplace else.
I've quit a few jobs back in the day, and one to get pay rates, two, I couldn't deal with the guy. There was no other options, and you know what? Was it scary? Yeah.
Yeah.
But when one door closes, one opens.
Absolutely, especially in this job market. Yeah. There's 5 open for every door that closes.
I mean, anybody's going to have those moments, and it's always awkward, but obviously it's bothering enough to ask the question. Ask them the question and deal with it straight.
Yep. And it's going to be uncomfortable. I mean, that's part of being a man in this industry, or just owning the conversation. Yeah, it's part of being in the industry and owning the conversation. You've got to have those uncomfortable conversations. But I will say this: none of what we just said is an excuse to job hop. Hopping is absolutely the worst thing you can do. It screws over everybody in the industry. Don't job hop.
Yeah.
But there's also there's no need for you to sit and take abuse if you don't need to. So. E-Fix, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Ryan, the weather's not been fun. Laying filter mat when there's a wind warning is just a thrilling time. Put a sail up there and
tie
see how
a rope onto that thing.
Ride it. We got Ryan, got a brand new Komatsu WA500. Nice. Dropped off the other day. Thing's a beast.
What
Still
are you doing,
like the
ripping
Volvo.
out concrete?
Yeah, what are you using the W? Are you working in a, that almost sounds like a gravel pit machine. That's a good sized machine. Phil, what is happening? Phil's my Australian guy that's been here since the channel really started taking off. Okay. It's awesome. Robert, and it's morning time because he is in Australia. Phil, freaking shoot me an email at some time so we can get you on the podcast. We need to get an Australian on the podcast. I don't know why I haven't said this before. Phil, if you are still in here, shoot me an email so that we can get you scheduled on our podcast.
It'll only be like midnight for you, Phil.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It's at the same time the live stream is. Shouldn't be bad at all. Robert Lockwood, tell everyone about Hans. He is the best. Hans is the best. So Hans is from Sweden. He looks Swedish. He sounds Swedish. He is 100% Swedish. Super, super awesome guy. Super nice guy. Whodig is originally from Sweden. And over in Sweden, these machines have been around for like 15 years. Like, they're not new. They're just new to the U.S. And so Hans is the U.S. guy that came from Sweden. So he knows all the ins and outs of these machines. Super great guy. And I mean, he's willing to send us two yahoos a machine.
He was super easy to talk to.
He was super easy to
He's
talk to.
He's doing all the legwork trying to knock America down with Whodig.
Yes.
So
yes.
And he will. He will.
He will. We're gonna help him out. We're trying to anyway. We'll see.
We will. We'll be there.
So let's see here. Jonathan, what's going on? How you guys doing? Funny, stupid moment this week. A guy filled the urea tank of a dozer and a backhoe with diesel, and right now are completely. But I wish I could say that that's an uncommon thing.
That's a common issue.
There's too many dumb people out there.
You know, I watched guys and it's had locks on it. I watched them get a key, unlock it, take it off, and then still
put the wrong fluid in it.
Dump like diesel fuel into hydraulic fluid.
Yep.
Even though the day before they were topping off the diesel fuel.
Yep.
Like I watched it. So that's a daily, unfortunately, common problem.
Yes.
Certified Wrench probably deals with that.
Yes, exactly. That's what's keeping Certified Wrench in business right there. Ryan, my cousin's new Kubota Mini has keyless start, and I hate it with a passion. We start and stop a lot, and it's annoying waiting for it to start up every time. That's the one thing that sucks about a lot of the new keyless machines, but that is not the case on the Whodig. So your main ignition is, you guys can't see my hand over there. The main ignition is over on your column, and you leave that on, which means all of the computers in the system are on. It's only the physical engine that you're starting and stopping with the button, and you can literally, he was doing it, and I was like, you know, being the traditional diesel guy, I'm like, whoa, because he's start and stop. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? He's like, no, it won't hurt the machine. All of the computers, everything's functioning normally. You're literally just starting and stopping the engine. Now, I wouldn't do that at full bore all the way to stop, but that being said, you don't have to wait for the computers to fire up. It's just always on. So it's a really nice machine in that aspect. Richard, sounds like it was a great time for you on the Who equipment. The Whodig, it's the Whodig. Or if you were, so Hans told us, because I asked him, I said, is it Whodig or Whodig? And he said, well, if you're American, it's Whodig. Yeah. If you're European, it's Whodig. And so we started at dinner calling him Hans from Whodig. So, let's see here. So Brian ran a backhoe. I posted, see, Brandon doesn't follow me on Instagram, or apparently doesn't pay attention enough, because I talked about this. I didn't run a backhoe. This is my legal loophole. The Whodig is not a backhoe. So I can legally love the Whodig and still hate backhoes. Perfect legal loophole. Yeah. I've got it all figured out.
You can't drive a backhoe backwards from joysticks in a seat.
Exactly.
With 3 different attachments.
I rest my case. Simon Hansen, he's one of my new...
Does a backhoe articulate in the middle?
It does not.
Whodig does. Oh, okay.
It's not a backhoe.
Stating.
Just saying, it's not a backhoe. So Simon Hansen is one of my new followers from Sweden. Are you running rail spec or city model? We are running a rail spec because right now, all of the Whodigs that are over here, with the exception of Lockwoods, are generally for the rail industry over here. That's where they've really started to take a foothold. So unfortunately, we will have the rail package on ours. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I would like to see how it handles without the rail package on it, because that is a pretty substantial amount of weight that's added to the machine.
I know how we're going to get from city to city. Just right down the tracks.
I think there's some really strict laws about that, but...
Well, we could always bail off the side.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's see here. Darren, I got confirmation last week that my skid ships from the factory on April 24th, and the excavator ships April 5th, but I can't get a coupler and buckets until the end of May. That's it, man.
Common problem.
That's everybody's problem right now on the equipment side. That's rough. Jonathan, same guy tried to use the batteries of a new Volvo excavator to weld a part of another excavator, and it busted the sensor's battery. Jesus.
Sounds like that boy needs to be fired.
That guy needs to be bumped on down the road, because that guy's an idiot. Yeah, I bet he just cost you guys $10,000 to $20,000. Basically, the new Volvo's almost great. Yeah, so I take that back. If he fried all that, you're probably 150? I bet you're all 80 at least for all of the sensors, computers. That's unbelievable.
I'd turn that into the insurance.
Yeah, at that point, absolutely. And you send that guy down the road packing. That's outrageous. Ryan, unfortunately, I have no idea who owns the JCB backhoe. I've seen some equipment around his place, but there's no company name posted. You know why? because he doesn't want his name associated with that JCB. Boom! Nailed it.
He'll probably black it out.
That's right. Paint it cat yellow. Right. Congrats on the sponsorship. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. It's been a lot of hard work. Andrew, thank you. Rashad, good to see you. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Richard, dang, all you guys. Thank you guys. It's been a lot of hard work. Excited that it's finally paying off now. So, Colton's Farm and Construction. What's happening, my man? JCBs are good machines. Lots of people use their skid steers and backhoes. JCB is a 77-year-old company, and lots of people enjoy them, so they're not junk. Okay, all right. We've touched a nerve. It's all right, but I disagree. I am not a fan of the JCB.
No,
they're big with the farmers.
The farmers love them here.
Farmers love them.
They're good at moving shit and hay bales. Like, that's what they do.
If you're not doing heavy duty cycles,
yeah,
or you don't live in the UK, you know, or if you do live in the UK, then JCB is apparently a decent machine. But
Case up here has the backhoe market wrapped up pretty much. So
yeah, yep, agreed.
I don't even know where you could buy a JCB around here. I don't even know.
I want to say AIS is the JCB dealer.
Yeah, but all they have is John Deere.
Oh, that's because no one buys JCB.
Right.
I said it. Let's see here. Kelvin Suarez. It has been a while. Good to see you. God bless you. Thank you. I've progressed a lot. I'm working as an operator, operating a Komatsu 470. Nice. That's a decent sized machine.
That's good.
Filling trucks. Dude, Kelvin, thanks for watching, man. I appreciate the support. You guys make this whole thing possible. Absolutely appreciate it. Robert, you got it on the shout out, brother. In fact, at some point, I've got you on my calendar this week to call you, Robert, by the way. I am going to touch base. I did not forget. It's just been that much of an insane week or so. Let's see here. At Lockwood Companies. There it is. At Lockwood Companies, Inc. is Robert's Instagram. Go check it out. He's constantly posting stuff with the Whodig. It's awesome. I've been following him along with a bunch of Swedish guys because they know how to run those machines. Andrew, Brian, I'm going to get some videos of me vibrating pilings into the ground with the MPK plate compactor. Yeah, absolutely. Get us some videos and we'll post those up on the social media. I'd love to see that. He's the one. I don't know if you saw. This past week, we put some videos, or not videos, pictures of him doing some pilings on the beach.
Okay.
With his, he's got a Takeuchi Mini.
Oh, those are solid.
Yeah, really solid. Robert, once you have a tilt rotator, the attachments get out of control. It's really a wheeled excavator and loader. That's the only way to compare it. 100%. Absolutely 100%. Ryan, I can power company buying. Ryan. Sweet Jesus.
I can power company
buying the Whodig. I think he had a stroke.
I think he just seen the price point when he was typing that.
Oh, you guys caught me. I have top chat on. How many people have I been ignoring? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got distracted. Rick was here and he was talking about rubbing my nipples later and it really distracted me and I forgot to turn on live chat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I've ignored your comments, guys. Let's see here. Which do you like more, grader or skid steer?
You know, I have a blast in the skid steer. They're Swiss Army knife. The grader, it takes a whole different skill set. I used to blue top with one for a little bit. Then I worked at the road commission for a little bit, grading roads and stuff. Grading roads, it's like watching paint dry. If you're out on a construction site, those freaking...
So we were talking, if you guys remember the drain tile plow, my buddy Lance Van Gilder lives right down the road from me. We were talking with him right before we went live. He's apparently watching because he just, for the record, he just texted me FJCB. He's a farmer even. That is awesome. That is awesome.
But the touchback on that, a grader is a fun piece of machinery to learn if you're on a construction site, pulling ditches, cutting roads, stripping topsoil, laying road base. There's so many things to do with these things. You run GPS on them, dude. They're phenomenal, and it's a blast. But I could get down with a road grader on a job site, but as far as the county roads, it's like watching paint dry. So I'd stick with the skid.
Yeah, so I would say, yeah, if you're gonna do a road grader in this discussion, I would say not doing county roads, because that would be mind numbing. But if you were on a road job where you were actually really having to do a lot of highly skilled grading, absolutely the grader all day long. I love highly technical machines. That's part of why I got so excited to run this Whodig. I love machines that you can't just jump in and master in a week. No. It's something that you're going to spend months and months and months, really years, mastering. And so in that sense, I would absolutely pick the motor grader, not doing county roads.
They play it like a piano, guys. They're sitting there looking down at the blade, and they're looking way out. And now the cat with the joysticks, I mean, these guys are constantly just looking at the blade and looking down the road, and their hands are just on the constant go. So
it's unreal watching a good operator. Andrew, as much as I hate to admit it, Daddy Wit has some really good podcast on dealing with the shithead foreman. I really want to screenshot this. And I'm thinking about framing it for Andrew. Andrew hates Aaron Witt with a passion, but he just, like, in writing, in the archives of history, has admitted that Aaron Witt has done something well.
He's got some decent stuff out there. He's a decent individual. You guys got to give the man some credit. He's knocking down walls that a lot of people don't do. So it's hard to hate on somebody and then turn around and give them a slap on the back like they're killing it. So
nice. There you go. I don't know. I don't have anything personally against him. I think he's doing a lot of great things. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. He's doing a lot of great things for the industry. He's getting a lot more attention on the industry than has traditionally been the case. So
correct.
It's hard to fault him. Nobody's perfect. We've talked about it before. We won't go back down that road. Brandon, I think I got someone who's in the union that would be willing to talk to you. I'm more than willing to talk to them, although this Whodig situation may have just opened the door here locally for the union. So I'm hoping I can have between your contact and my contacts. I'm really hoping I'll get some solid information coming on the channel for how the apprenticeship works, how to transfer locals, all that sort of stuff. So, let's see here. I can't remember if it was Daddy Wit or Brian who had the podcast on dealing with the terrible foreman. It was probably ours, Andrew, and here you are being a jackass, giving all that credit to Aaron Witt, even though you know I'm in direct competition for the top YouTube spot. So, whatever, Andrew. I thought we were friends here.
Throwing a stone at the glass, huh?
That's right. Ryan said they got that 500 for a stone quarry. There you go. Ryan, can't seem to get a hold of my union rep. I was given his phone number, and a couple of weeks ago left a couple voicemails, but no luck. Gave him email, HR guy, and saved. I tell you, that's the one thing with those BAs. Sometimes they don't want to get
somewhere on a beach.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. You can go above his head. I mean, you could call into the local and see if you can get a hold of someone there. But Dozer Dennis, what's happening, my man? Dozer Dennis. If you don't follow Dozer Dennis on YouTube here, you should absolutely go follow him. He's got a great channel. And he's actually, I think I told you, I don't remember if I did. He's in the New York area.
Okay.
And he actually owns, or doesn't own, he works at a trade school. It's not a trade school. Correct me, Dennis. It's more of a school program, but he trains them the right way. He gives them, he's got hard hat stickers. They get certified on a piece of equipment. They get their hard hat sticker. That allows them to go out on a job and actually learn on the job only in the piece of equipment that they have a sticker for. And the part I love the most is, if you prove you don't know your stuff, he will take your hard hat sticker back and you got to go re-earn it. So, legit training program.
I would be selling those on Amazon.
Absolutely.
$29.99.
That's right. But yes, Dennis has got a legit training program.
That's awesome.
Chase Conrad, I don't know if you've been in here before. The name seems kind of familiar. My God, I'm sorry, guys. The phone's blowing up, and you know what? Part of it's Lance, part of it's not. All right, here we go.
If Lance would just show up here.
That's true, Lance. You could have come over, although I didn't formally invite him. That'd be rude. Chase, I don't know if I've seen you in here. Your name seems familiar. They just took delivery of a new next gen 352.
Wow.
I want to play in one of those. Those are solid freaking machines.
Yeah.
I really want to play in one of those. Ryan Pearson, Me and my father started an excavating company last year in southern Wisconsin. I'm 22 years old, so I'm new to the industry, but my dad has been doing this for 30 years. That's awesome, man.
You got a good mentor.
Yep, and he's got, he wrote so it was really hard starting out last year. Merrick, by the way, I see your comment. I'll come right back and say formally hello in just a second. It was really hard starting out last year, but in a pinch, starting out, we hired this foreman, which was a big mistake. Ooh, that's uncomfortable. So the foreman works for your dad. The man blows up and yells at people, consistently steps over boundaries and is too controlling. Lots of issues I would talk in private about, but we are trying to go about this right, being a union company, having troubles finding the right replacement in the meantime. Ooh. So that's a situation where clearly it sounds like you got the wrong foreman, and I will tell you, you get a foreman like that, he's going to demoralize the whole crew.
He's going to run your company down to the ground.
Production's going to tank with a guy like that. So that's one of the rare circumstances. I would say absolutely, if you weren't working for your dad, go elsewhere. Since you are working for your dad, you're going to have to hit the union hall and tell them they need to find someplace else for this guy to go.
Go back to the union hall and pull another one.
Yeah, absolutely. So Merrick Miller in Miller right there. That's Merrick down in Ohio. Good to see, man. And I am super, super excited to go work with you guys. So for those of you who have not been following along, I went to Ohio last fall, worked with Merrick and his boss Wayne on a residential kind of, it was a total regrade. They had a borrow pit that was in the side of a hill.
The Lee Bear?
That was a Lee Bear, yep.
Nice.
And so I was running a Lee Bear dozer, and so we were regrading the whole hill. We are now going back in 2 or 3 weeks, and there is a residential project. It's freaking crazy. A residential project where there's this massive house, and about 200 yards away is a massive barn, and they want to connect the two with a tunnel. So we're going to be digging basically it's a superior walls build, so we will dig the whole trench out for the walls to be set in. They'll do a poured roof over top of it, and then they'll bury everything back over. Wow. It has a bowling alley, 2-lane bowling alley off one side. It has a movie theater off of one side.
All right.
It has a wine cellar and a very large closet for storing all of your miscellaneous shit that you have when you're that wealthy. And so that's what we're going to be working on. It's going to be awesome.
That sounds awesome.
It is going to be awesome. I'm very excited about this project.
Awesome,
man. Let's see here. Jonathan, have you tested the new big E165 Bobcat Doosan excavator? Reviews I've seen is that they aren't even close to a deer or cat. Well, if they came from Bobcat, that doesn't shock me at all. Doosan puts out some decent stuff.
Bobcat is like a JCB, man. Just a step above.
It is. It's a step above, but it's not much. I would say I don't know how much influence Doosan has on the Bobcat side, but if it is a Bobcat excavator, I would say it's probably going to be super jerky, super loud, not have any power, and not be worth it. Didn't even have to run it. Full review right there.
And on that note.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see here. Robert, our 1370 will be the first new city Whodig ever in America. So yeah, Robert's getting a second Whodig. That's how successful he's seen.
What are you doing?
Yeah, so tell us what you're doing, Robert.
Yeah.
It's he's doing a lot of basement digs, I know, and a bunch of like residential work, but yeah. Because you don't have to put outriggers down with it. So you can literally dig and just scoot the machine as you go.
Yeah, but he's got to be doing more than basements.
Yeah, he's doing a lot more than that. ATC man, I've never seen you in here. Thanks for coming in. Huge parts availability issues everywhere. Can't get my new rods for my Vermeer drill. Don't know. I rented a brand new JCB backhoe, 4-wheel steer for the whole winter, mainly just for holding salt, and had mechanical issues with the brand new machine. That is the JCB we all know and love, right there. Unfortunately. Oh, we are catching up in the comments. You guys got to start talking more because we're catching up, and we're not supposed to catch up because then we're going to have nothing to talk about here. Bobby, congrats. Got to play in a Hitachi 470 for the first time last week. Unfortunately, the main operator doesn't think topping off def every day is important enough, so now the machine is down. Well, I will say that sucks. You need to have a responsible operator. Now, is the machine...
I almost locked that skid steer down.
That's true. We did almost lock the case down.
Had a couple of bars left on it. Was tracking back on the hillside to go top it off. and it went into lockdown
Yeah,
mode.
being in the incline.
And thankfully we were able to get it to come back after about an hour of messing with it instead of pulling the mechanic and trying to
having to put the computer on it.
Yeah.
Yep. The new company I work, this is Ryan. The new company I work for requires you to fuel up at night. Apparently, the head mechanic and COO get alerted the next day if the machine's low on fuel the next morning by the end of the week. That's you can expect a meeting by the end of the week. That's a great policy. I mean, I should say this. If you don't work at a large enough company where you have a dedicated fuel guy come out, that's a great policy. That's just part of taking care of the equipment. You've got multiple issues if you run the diesel tank all the way down, the DEF tank, especially if you run it all the way down. So diesel tank, you've got to recognize any sort of a fuel tank is going to have sediment at the bottom of that fuel tank. If you run it all the way down, now your pickup is starting to draw all that sediment in, so you're going to plug up filters, you're going to have issues with ejectors. You don't want to run machines way out of fuel.
Well, then you get condensation in the cold.
That's true. You got condensation, so now you got water and gelling. And then when it comes to DEF, if you run that sucker all the way down, the biggest cause of problems with DEF is crystallization.
Yeah.
And crystals naturally form. They're naturally going to be in the system. There are some safeguards against them. But if you're running that tank all the way down, again, just like on your diesel side, all those crystals are now getting pulled into the pickup, and now you're getting way more crystals that are all going to congregate, and they're either going to clog up your filter or they're going to go through and get clogged in the DEF injectors, and that's why you have emissions issues.
Yeah.
I would say probably 70% of emissions issues are caused by user error as opposed to DEF just being a pain in the ass.
You know, the end of the day, that's a good time to be topping off all your fluids anyways. I mean, when's the best time to be checking your oil? When the motor's warm, right? Instead of when it's cold. You get an accurate reading. You could check it right then when it's hot. You could grease the machine while the pins are hot. You know, instead of doing it first thing in the morning on a colder day, trying to wait for it to warm up. It takes grease better. And it's a lot easier for startup time, right? You don't have all these checklists besides check the oil again if you want. So you checked it last night, so it should be full by the morning.
Yeah.
Top off your radiator fluid in the morning, not while it's hot. You know, so that's a good policy. And downtime's everything, guys. So if you're running around constantly trying to prep this machine when this thing should be digging at daylight, you know, time's money in these guys' eye, and it takes so much work to get this job prepped that kind of falls back onto your responsibility, your job.
Yeah.
So if that thing's working, then so is your paycheck.
Yeah.
Right?
Jonathan, the guy still has a job. This is the guy that welded with battery cables. The guy still has a job because he's family the owner. Also, his equipment has no guarantee or warranty because he deletes and removes DPFs and any emission stuff. I tell you, working at the dealership, before I worked at a dealership, I was like, yeah, DPF deletes all day long. That's awesome. Until you work at a dealership and you realize that when you delete the DPF, not only do you void all warranty, you now put the dealership in a position to where they will not work on that piece of equipment because you've modified it way beyond what the manufacturer's specifications are, which means that if they do any work on that machine, they're now taking on liability because you can come back and say, oh,
yeah,
you screwed something up. So a lot of dealerships flat out won't touch machines that have a delete kit on them. So you really got to be careful doing DPF deletes.
I'd say, though, the DPF deletes and not deleting it, as much as it's a pain in the ass to deal with the DEF fluid, it does not burn your eyeballs when you stand next to it. It's a clean exhaust burn, even though it chokes down the horsepower. I mean, you sit next to my pickup and your eyeballs will be burning from the diesel fuels because the truck's deleted, but you could go huff the skid and the excavator.
And he does all the time.
When it's greasing and
he'll put that mouth all the way around that.
Blowing in the morning. I mean, it's a clean smell. It doesn't stink. So as much as I don't like it, you do see a big difference. So
You do.
I would rather run with horsepower deleted on a pickup truck, yeah, but on a skid steer that's running all day long, like, I just deal with it.
Yeah.
So
let's see here. Ryan, they've also been having issues with people not greasing the equipment or shoveling tracks. I'll tell you right now, if you're not greasing equipment, you're out. I mean, so let me put it this way. Let's take a backhoe. If we have to let me back up. So case backhoes, one of the big advantages to a case backhoe is they actually have bushings inside all of your hinge points on that rear arm. And so instead of you having to have it line bored when you need to get it all tight again, we could actually take those pins and bushings out, we could swap them all out, and your whole back end's tight again. That's case. Case is the only one that does that. And it's still going to cost you about $10,000 to $12,000 to repin and rebush the whole back end of that machine because you haven't been greasing it. Now, if you have to line bore it, which is what every other manufacturer has to do, just for the back end of the machine, this is not the whole machine, this is just for the back arm. So where the boom attaches to the swivel joint, where the boom attaches to the stick, and your bucket pins. Just to have those line bored, you're looking at easily $20,000 to $30,000.
All for a $2 tube of grease.
Exactly. So if you're not greasing the equipment, you're out. You are absolutely, you're destroying the equipment. Robert Lockwood, you're a union guy. I'm not officially a union guy. I'm not in the union. I was in the union. Rick was also, you were in the union, right?
For a little bit, and I actually didn't like it. So I prefer non-union, even though if you look at the pros and cons, I just didn't like the union. I mean, a lazy dude and a guy that has a hard work ethic still gets the same pay at the end of the day. Too political. You know, you get a lot more experience in the non-union world. When you kind of were union, you had this job was just your job, this is all you did. And I couldn't watch even like a labor clean tracks or watch them install a pipe if the top man was gone and they were I'd jump down to help them.
Yeah.
And you get written up or you get bitched at, and it was just like, just be a human being. You know, I can't watch somebody struggle. So they both have their pros and cons. The unions now are starting to get a little bit more beat up because the non-unions up here now are really starting to take care of employees, really starting to come out with retirements, paying health insurance.
But I will say, to the union's credit, that is because of the union.
It is because of the union. And right now, I mean, the union, so in the state of Michigan, for example, if you're union, you're constantly on the MDOT work, right? MDOT's always spending money on the freeways and the bridges, so they do have the upper hand on the big jobs. And so, you know, you're just a number, though, with them, too. So, you know, it has its pros and cons.
I hate to be a fence rider on this one, but this is one area that I really ride the fence on, and that's not just me trying to be political. Literally, internally, I ride the fence, too. As Rick stated, you get a lot better ground experience and a lot better education going the non-union route because you're on a shovel. You spend the first year and a half of your life on the end of a shovel, which is where you learn how to read a grade rod, you learn how to see level, you learn how all the stuff fits together and where pieces and parts go, and you know, how to use pipe soap and all this like small detail work that's actually really meaningful to the guys in the trench. And you don't get that going the union side. But 100% what I said is absolutely true, that the reason wages are so good here in Michigan and the reason non-union companies are competing at the level that they are, wage-wise and benefits-wise and retirement-wise, is 100% because of the union. I'm originally from Texas. Texas has never been a strong union state. There's almost no union presence. And I was running a rock truck making $13 an hour. And I was going to top out around $24 to $25 an hour without benefits. As a great, like a top blade hand was making $25 an hour. So the union has really, really positive benefits. You've got a pension, you got healthcare, you've got your training fund, which means I can go out to the training center as a union employee anytime I want, free of charge. I can go get on any piece of equipment out there and I can run it, and all I have to do is go over to the diesel tank, flip the on switch, and fill it back up. It's not coming out of my pocket. It's coming out of my training, my dues that go into the training fund. So there's a ton of benefits to the union, but there's also there's a lot of cons to the union too. It's like I said, I hate to be a fence rider, but I'm a fence rider on this one. Andrew, Brian, I want to get on the podcast one of these days. Shoot me an email, Andrew, and we can absolutely schedule that. Fair warning, we're like a month and a half out right now on bookings because we have that many people lined up. But we will absolutely get you on the podcast. We'd love to do that. Dozer Dennis, when's the Deuce on Dozer showing up?
Oh, ouch.
Great question. Great question. So Doosan actually messaged me back. I think it was while I was in Texas. In fact, I'm glad you said that because I need to respond to their email. They have 2 units in the US right now. One is going to go out to be demoed to contractors, and one of them is going straight to their facility in Tucson, Arizona. And so they gave me the option of maybe seeing if this thing would get close enough they could send it over here for a little bit, but it sounds like it would be a very brief window. Or I can optionally fly down to Tucson, Arizona and go run it at their facility. So I've got to kind of work through the details of that with them. So we will see. I don't know that we're going to see the Doosan dozer here in Michigan.
Anytime soon.
Anytime soon, yeah. So I'll keep you posted on that one because we'll see. Chase, you definitely need to get in the cab of one. I can load a 730 haul truck with 2.5 or 3 buckets. Oh, I believe it. That's awesome. 352. Yeah, that thing's a monster. That's in that pipe video I did a while back. That's what they're running.
That is a monster.
Yeah, those things are awesome. Ryan, he has already made 3 of our employees quit. There you go. That right there tells you everything you need to know. Union is looking for a replacement, but it's hard because there's just too much demand for experienced operators. I tell you though, you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons, and I'm telling you, if he's getting good people to quit, and he's causing the rest of the crew to have a terrible morale and production, you're better off just letting the guy go and fumbling your way through.
You could always attract somebody by paying over union scale.
You may have to.
And you could also sponsor somebody to get in the union, pulling a non-union employee in, hiring them and sign them up with the union if you find the right fit. So
yeah,
there are a couple loopholes. Dig into that a little bit more.
Brandon, I'm sorry, it looks like a backhoe. Brandon, you know what?
It's fishnets over his eyes.
It looks like a backhoe in the same way. No, I'm not even gonna go there.
It's its own piece of machine.
It's its own piece of equipment. You can't. It does look like a backhoe, but it does not run anywhere remotely close to a backhoe.
No.
Let's see here. Got a look put for you and your pops, Brandon Culpepper. That's because it's just glorified back. Oh, Andrew's firing shots now. It looks like a Andrew, I don't know. I may take back that podcast invite because we're gonna can't do it. Robert, just site work. We're a small company. Any small contractor can afford one once you see how much you'll get done with it. Replaces a Cat 314, 420 F2, small loader, and a 308 for us. That's the thing. So you can't look at this thing as I'm buying a single piece of equipment and it's only going to be used as a single piece of equipment and it's a ridiculously expensive single piece of equipment. It is a replacement for a chunk of your fleet. That's the way you have to look at this thing.
And that's just the touch on it though. This thing, you start getting more attachments and everything else. This thing, it's a tree machine, a freaking brush machine. I'd clear land with it. I mean, you could put a root grapple on it. This thing is
all right. So
is amazing.
Let's think about it this way. If you had the tilt rotate, it comes standard with the tilt rotator on the back. Let's say you had an excavator with a tilt rotator and you're like, well, what? I can buy an excavator and with a tilt rotator for half that price. Okay, you did. Now I want you to put a brush hog on that excavator you've got, and I want you to run it down a stretch of road using it as a boom mower. You can't because it's an excavator and it can't go that fast. But this machine can. If you you want a trenching cable all of a sudden, you guys decide you want to get into utility work. You want a trenching cable. Well, guess what? Now you got to go buy either a vibratory plow for one of your other machines, or you got to buy a specific dedicated vibratory plow. With the Whodig, you just buy a vibratory plow attachment, and this thing is they have a full cable underground utility setup for this machine that will get you into the underground world.
You put tracks on this thing?
You can put tracks on this thing so it looks like a case quad track. If you go look at those Muddy Mary videos, you will see them with it's a quad track tractor.
Yeah.
That will clip along at 20 miles an hour. I mean, it's just nuts what this machine's capable of.
You're looking for something that's versatile, like a one size fits all. This is your machine.
Yep.
you know, from like a skid steer and a mini excavator on site. Like this is kind of the same equivalent piece here. A little bit bigger, might not be always the perfect fit because it's a little big, but that's what you're looking at. So like you touched on it, excavator, backhoe, loader, it's 3 machines in one, and it could be more.
But even the capability, so this machine, the way it works is you articulate in the middle, but you also pivot in the middle. And the cool thing is you can lock the pivot. And so they won't commit to saying that they'll let you use it this way. But what I asked was, okay, if I'm sitting on flat level ground and I want to start a pitch, could I get my machine to where it's pitched?
You could.
And then start in. And they're like, well, it's not really intended for that. And I'm like, but you could. But that's the thing. That's the way this machine works, is when you really start to open your mind up to what you can do, because these are all, and this is kind of playing into Jonathan's comment. He says in the videos the operator looks like he's about to launch from the seat to Mars. It does. There's buttons everywhere, but each one of those buttons does a very specific function. And when you break out of the mold of this is a backhoe, and you start to look at, okay, I have this tool available to me, how can I utilize this tool? You start to think of all sorts of ways that you can use this machine in ways that you can't use any other machine. That's the thing too, is we keep trying to stuff it in the box of it's a loader or it's a backhoe. This thing will do things that no other machine out there in production will do. It's able to do really, really unique things because of the way that it's put together and because of the functionality they've built into this thing. Again, my American mind, I'm like, why do you not have an extend-a-hoe on it? Why would you put together a backhoe? Because I did the same thing you guys are doing. Why would you build a backhoe without extend-a-hoe? And it wasn't until I'm out there digging around and playing around that I was like, man, I just need another like 2 feet and I could reach out there. I just need the extend-a-hoe. And then I'm like, yeah, Brian, you're an idiot. I clicked it into gear. So your pinky finger clicks it into gear. Pinky finger click into gear. I back up 2 more feet. I'm in perfect control because I can steer while I'm in backhoe mode.
Right.
Steer myself the 2 feet, click it back into drive, and I'm actually, because you can operate the backhoe while you're driving, I'm now driving forward, pulling the material with me and manipulating it along the side of this V-ditch. I like, you cannot pigeonhole this machine.
You need to be able to take an excavator, lay pipe, finish grade with one. You need to be able to start doing tree work with this thing, feed a chipper with it, take the quick coupler off instead of just digging normal, leave the quick coupler on. Sorry, don't take that off. Take your bucket, flip it around, connect it, and start working the bucket backwards, digging under utilities and stuff. Like, that's the kind of thinking that you got to do for this kind of machine. Like, once you hit that versatility, that's what this thing is designed for.
By the way, the whole machine can be remote operated with a Bluetooth remote standing right beside the machine. So you're operating over the side of a hill, or you're backed up against a house where you have to operate off to the side but you can't see anything, no problem. You hop out of the cab, you have a remote. It's a little remote box about this big, and it sits right here in front of you. It's super comfortable. You can wear this thing all day long, and it's all with fingers. Everything is done with fingers because this thing is so easy to operate. And I thought for sure, again, being American, I'm like, without feel, there's no way you're gonna be able to do that. Dude, this thing is so natural. I was able to operate so easy with the controls. It was unbelievable. Totally remote, totally outside the cab. I have video of me walking the backhoe around. I'm literally walking in front of the backhoe while it follows me around the parking lot. I'm taking my backhoe for a walk. It's just the capabilities of the machine. We as Americans don't even begin to comprehend. You'd have to spend a month in this machine before you really went, okay, I think I really understand all the ways you can use this.
Right.
So anyway,
that's awesome.
Let's see here. Sean, good to see you, Sean. If you leave fuel tanks empty when they're warm from the return lines, the condensation will create water in your system, so you should always fill them. Yep, we mentioned that. That's exactly right. What's your favorite disgusting sandwich? Great question, Jason Myers. Good to see you. I don't know that you've been in here before. Thanks for hanging out.
Peanut butter and jelly.
That's not disgusting.
Yeah, it is. It tastes like shit, and I still eat it.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches taste awesome.
Yeah, no.
What?
No.
Who doesn't like a peanut butter and
My
jelly?
grandpa used to do mayonnaise and cheese.
Oh, I got one better.
Mm.
My brother-in-law used to do mayonnaise and mustard sandwiches. And when I say mayonnaise and mustard,
Thick. Cake on.
oh, yes.
Like you're...
Yes, he's chewing mayonnaise. It used to, so the first introduction to this, story time. First introduction to this was when Melissa and I were still dating. That's my wife, if you haven't picked up on that. And we went on a camping trip with her family, and it was raining. So we're all stuck in the camper. And so he pulls out bread to make a sandwich and mayonnaise and mustard, and who doesn't make a sandwich with mayonnaise and mustard? Those are both good condiments on a sandwich. And so I don't think anything of it. And as we're sitting there, he just like glob. And I'm like, and all of a sudden the camper starts to smell like mayonnaise, and it's like,
Did he ever take a bite and the white mayonnaise just run down his chin?
oh, he's the perfect guy to even make that joke to. He would get so offended even talking about it. It was so
Or did he have a dual
disgusting.
split?
So disgusting. Yeah, exactly. Just right down the chin. It's just so disgusting. And
That
that's
is
what he would
nasty.
eat for a long time in his life. That's all he would eat is mayonnaise and mustard sandwiches.
Nah.
But when it comes to nasty, like disgusting sandwiches, I can't
I'm
think,
a sandwich fan.
like
So,
if you like, there's some people that are disgusted by sauerkraut. I love sauerkraut,
Yeah.
and so throwing sauerkraut on a sandwich is really good. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here, Andrew. Run the machine stock till it gives you problems, then delete and modify. To an extent, but again, if you get into anything major where you got to get the dealership involved,
won't touch it.
you're screwed. That's the only problem there. Sean, yeah, you're right about that. Can't do same pay for two different types of work ethic. Just does not work for me. I don't really know what that was talking. Oh, two different types of work ethic, I'm assuming is what that should say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, Brandon. Yeah, see, Brandon now has found an angle where he's just going to start irritating me with calling the Whodig a backhoe. And
That's
he's going to keep working it and working it and working it.
just click on there and we can block him
Yeah,
for
that's
now. We don't
it's
have
better
to
yet.
have an angle.
Look at what we can do.
Mute him. Just mute him.
We can put him in timeout.
Yeah, put him in time.
Put user in time.
Brandon, 5 minutes. Timeout.
I thought it was going to give me an option. Oh, I deleted his messages. You're in timeout for 300 seconds.
Oh, is that even going to make the...
We put him... Got you, Brandon. I got you.
We'll
You're
see
in
you next
timeout.
Sunday. Thanks, buddy.
That's awesome. That's the first time I've experimented with putting someone in timeout.
You should have did that with the troll.
That's true. I should have put
That's
him in
awesome.
timeout.
That'd been great. 'cause that
Sit
would've
in the corner, and I'll let you know when your time is up. Let's see here, Ryan. You should see if you can get that Doosan dozer sent out to where you plan the channel trip. That's one of those things, Ryan. Because they only have 2 in the U.S., I don't think Doosan's gonna play ball there. I could pitch it out to them, but I don't know that they're gonna play ball because they've only got the 2 of them.
Hey, Brandon Culpepper's calling in.
Is he real? All right, guys. Here's Brandon.
What's going on, Brandon?
You're in timeout, Brandon.
I know. Why did you think I called?
We weren't sure what that was gonna do, so we found out you're in timeout for 300 seconds. It's only 5 minutes. It's only 5 minutes, Brandon, and you were calling it a backhoe, and I told you it's not a backhoe, and you're arguing with me. I'm doing the same thing with you that I do with my kids.
We're doing the guest a favor.
Yeah.
It's a Whodig, Brandon. It's a Whodig.
It's like a backhoe.
Yeah. All right. So look,
The tiger's still a cat.
if you're gonna continue, I'm gonna tell you the same thing I tell my kids. If you're gonna continue, the consequences are gonna escalate.
Right, like we could actually hit the mute button right now.
That's right.
Well, then I will wake you up at 3 a.m.
No.
Actually, it'll be up. So,
I put my phone on do not disturb mode.
Brandon, so how's the interview process going?
It's going good. The apprenticeship, it's a non-union apprenticeship. It's 3 years. They said that they cover basically anything that I would need. If I had to travel for a job, they paid for the room.
Awesome.
If I needed a high-vis jacket and a hard hat, they covered that.
Nice.
And I forget what else, but I'm supposed to meet with them in April 15th.
Oh, good. When do you think you might be starting?
Well, hey, do you guys
This is
forget we're in the
exciting.
middle of a live stream?
I
Like, I
know.
hate to cut it off.
We're
but-
live streaming.
Well,
Yeah.
Well,
Listen,
we gotta get him a little call of fame. He's in timeout.
That's true. He is in timeout.
So when do you think you might be starting there, Brandon?
they didn't give me like a date yet, but they said with the season picking up, that I could probably start by the end of April, beginning of May.
Nice.
That's awesome, man.
Well, congratulations, Brandon. That's awesome.
All right, now go back to timeout.
Yeah, you got to go back to your hole.
Can I put it my snake?
If it's your hole. Hey, we'll see you, man.
Okay. All right, bye.
All right. There you go. There's
that was
Brandon,
That
everyone.
was a first.
All right, Bacon. I'm 3 weeks into my new job at Organic. Blue Ribbon Organics. Thrilled to be there. Finally in a seat. Small company of 7 guys, including me, my boss's father. Can't complain. About 10 hours a day in Komatsu. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Bacon. That's great. That's awesome. So Bacon is another one that's just been here forever. He's one of my regular subscribers.
Love it.
Love it. Ryan, absolutely. We do what we can. Hopefully life gets better for you. I'm sorry you're having to deal with that. Chase, do you think lowest bid contractors actually do good work? Here in Wisconsin, 90% of them are shit.
Ouch.
You know, it's one of those, that's...
You get what you pay for.
It is. That's one of the things that it's really hit or miss when you go with low bid on if you're going to get quality or you're just going to get the bottom of the barrel guy. So I would say that is one of the major flaws that everyone's talking about right now in our industry is it's a rush to the bottom. It's who can undercut the most. We don't do a good enough job in this industry of selling the service and the quality of work. And in all honesty, I think part of that's just because none of us in the dirt world know how to do that. Like, that's not a skill that you just understand. That's one of the benefits. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but that is one of the benefits of a college education is you do, when you go into the business world, is you do learn how to market and you learn how to present things from a value standpoint. Why am I more expensive? Well, I'll tell you right now, yard restoration is part of what I do. I'm going to come back and I'm going to warranty my work for 6 months to a year, whatever it is. Like, there are things you're paying for. By the way, if you call me, I'm always going to answer my phone, or if I don't, I'm going to call you back within an hour and a half. Like, that's just the way I do things. Other things, like, I'm going to show up on the day that I tell you I'm going to show up.
Yep.
That's what you're paying for, and that's why I'm more expensive. If those things aren't important to you, that guy, go for it. Who knows when he's going to show up? Who knows if he's going to answer his phone? That's all I'm going to say.
A third of the industry now is cleaning up the low budget industry, okay?
Yep.
So you get what you pay for. You know, you don't want to be the cheapest bid out there. And if you put out a good bid, you perform. And that's hands down. Why? Because you got a little wiggle room. And if you did miss something, it's not a big deal. You're not sweating it. So you're going to thrive to make sure you check that box next time. But you're going to do a good job. Not always being the low bid is bad. You know, sometimes I could be the lowest bid and it was good margins, right?
And sometimes that's how you got to get into the market. Like, sometimes you kind of wedge yourself in there.
You can't always claim the fame that you're the best in the business and you're shooting high prices. I mean, you got to build that reputation. You got to have the solid work history, and you'll get a waiting list. So sometimes, I mean, I understand where the people come from and they are the lowest, and it doesn't mean that they're the lowest because they just underbid it because they wanted to work. Maybe that was their price point and someone was gouging. I mean, you gotta look at it both ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said, Rick.
You're welcome.
Well said. We bought a dozer blade for one of our skid steers. The thing was useless. Don't recommend that attachment on skids. Dude, anyone that's ever
If you got that dozer blade, like the grader attachment, it's got the wheels that come down in front of it.
That's
now
worth
you
it.
might have an
That's
attachment.
worth it. But not the free floating dozer blade.
No.
And as Ryan already said, you need to wait for the DL550 that's got the C-frame that attaches to
Who
the
makes
machine.
the L550?
The case.
Oh, okay, that's right.
even though you're wearing a cat shirt.
You know.
What's this? What's this?
That was the mayonnaise stain that you were earlier. The sandwich? The sandwich you were eating?
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. That's why we were getting the drip effect off of that.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops. That was
now look.
OnlyFans content, guys. You gotta pay to see that.
Look at the camera. Look how bad it looks in person. It's really not that.
It's
dark.
not that bad. Yeah, the camera makes it look way worse.
Yeah, that looks.
Start moving your arm. Just start moving.
Oh, hang on.
There it is.
I don't know what that was, guys. Sorry about that.
That was your free preview. If you want to watch
Whodig,
more,
fans only.
You got fans only. You got to watch Rick on fans.
Watch. Come here, Brian.
Nope. There's nope.
That's only on the fans only.
Fans only. Got to pay for it. Anyway,
only fans.
Only fans, guys. Fans only. Rick. He's been furiously masturbating to pedestal fans and ceiling fans for like a month and a half now.
That sleep canceling noise gets me every time.
It gets him. He has yet to get to completion because he falls asleep halfway through.
That sleep zombie. What do we got now?
Let's see here. Ryan, back and forth. Jonathan, I've never ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Never. That's insanity. Who the F... Like, I feel like your mother's to blame. Like, you should have had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich growing up.
Nah. No, you're okay.
What? That's ridiculous. I feel for you. You're like Tiny Tim.
Poor Brandon.
Poor Brandon. This machine sounds awesome. So you mean to say you can be the laborer and the operator with this remote?
Yes.
You better make sure you're in both unions, though. Otherwise, you're going to get a big slap on the wrist.
$75 an hour right there.
Right. Chase, have you ever used the CAT 2D grade control? What do you think of it? I have not used the 2D grade control. I have used their the new CAT grade control 3D system. Not the 2D yet. I'm still waiting. I need to, in fact, Van Gilder, the guy who said FJCB earlier, he's got a new 315 with that in it. I need to go try it out. I just haven't badgered him enough yet. So, F to pay to respects to Brandon. That's right. Brandon should be live again. Yeah, he's live again. We're good. We're all good. Give him a phone call. Legendary. That's hilarious. Yes, that was a good little bit. You should get Dirt Ninja on the podcast. I've heard him talk about selling the quality of the work instead of joining the race to the bottom. Ryan, if you will help me get Dirt Ninja on the podcast, I would love to have Dirt Ninja on the podcast. I'm finding with most of these YouTube guys, it's really hard to get a hold of them unless you have an actual email address that works. So I'd love to get him on. Any of the YouTube guys I'd love to get on. I did. We'll see what happens. You guys may need to help me out. We may need to go bum rush Chris's channel. I sent Let's Dig 18 an email 2 days ago to see if he'd be willing to come on the podcast and kind of tell his whole story, because you know, not from a oh my god it's Let's Dig 18, but legitimately like as a dirt contractor, tell us your story. So maybe everybody go over there and throw a comment on his videos. Hey, you need to go be on Sweat and Grime, go be on Sweat and Grime. And maybe if enough of us voice our opinion, we should do the same thing for Dirt Ninja. Everybody go over there and bum rush his channel and say, you need to be on Sweat and Grime, and maybe we'll get him on. But yeah, love to. He's a big and that's the other thing I love about him, Ryan, is he is a huge advocate. So Dirt Ninja was using a tilt rotator. Man, he's been using that for like 5 or 6 years now.
Oh wow.
He had a 2D grade control system like 6-7 years ago. Like, he's way technologically advanced for the US. It's awesome, and he's killing it too, to the point that his YouTube channel has fallen to the wayside because he's so busy with work.
Wow.
And it's because he's so efficient. Brandon, you are back, my man. All of your past messages are deleted. That's right. Oh, all of them? Did it take it all the way back?
Yeah. Timeout. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, it did all the way back. Wow, Brandon.
That's like a spanking, Brandon.
I did. I was just about to say, we spanked you.
He's like 7 years old again.
I know. That's pretty... I didn't know I wielded that much power with the timeout. So my options are pin a message, report, remove. I can remove you, which I won't do. I can hide a user. I don't know what that does. We're not going to experiment. Or I can put you in timeout. Or I could make him a moderator, which is just asking for problems. Brandon with power is a dangerous thing.
He's got a lot of power.
Well, if you give him more power, he just asked if he could play with the snake. That's feeling powerful. He's gonna sit here and moderate with a giant boa constrictor around his neck, wearing his little pink thong and his fishnets. Like, that's a Brandon we don't want to have to trying to rein him in. I don't think so. Let's see here. It's better to overbid a job than underbid it. Change my mind. To an extent, you want to underbid just a tiny bit. Where it really sucks is if you find out you were 20 grand less than the other guy, because you just left 20 grand on the table. Right. So
you got to sharpen the pencil. You know, at the end of the day, you need to know what the going rates and stuff are for. Anyways, your overhead's not ever going to be the same as probably the next company. You need to bid the job to make money for your company. You can't necessarily go compete with other companies, other contractors at the same price point. I mean, obviously it's nice to play at their price point. You gotta know what the going rates and stuff are though when you're bidding against other people. I mean, you could sell yourself short, but again, you still have to bid it where your company's making money and you're efficient at it and you're happy.
All right, so Ryan, first of all, hang on, I'm sorry, I have to put my phone down so that I can be grossly upset. I'm grossly offended that you would bring up someone else's podcast in the middle of our live stream. Sweet Jesus. But that being said, now that my being offended is done, what is the name of Dirt Perfect's podcast? I had no idea he had a podcast. Like, now I have to go discover Dirt Perfect. Or no, not Dirt Perfect. Yes, it was Dirt Perfect. Dirt Perfect. Podcast and shows. A few points from Perfect Podcast. I don't know what that is. Oh, I'm thinking Dirt Ninja. Dirt Perfect. I don't know. I'll give it a listen. Tell me the name. A few points from. Oh, so it is called A Few Points from Perfect. Okay. We'll have to give that a listen. A few points from Perfect. Okay, we'll try. Oh, he interviewed Dirt Boss even. Yeah. All right. We'll give her a listen. We have officially caught up to all of our comments.
That is awesome.
Like, I don't even know what we're going to do with ourselves. We have like 10 minutes to kill. 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes warning. And then we're out. Man, what should we talk about? What do we have coming up? What do we have coming up? Because I don't even know what we have coming up.
Man, we got live interviews this week.
Yeah, so we're going to do...
FAE's in the house.
I should say it's not going to be live on YouTube.
No.
But we are in person recording with FAE and special guest Edwin McCain. All right, if you guys don't know who Edwin McCain is, first of all, it's going to make me feel really old. But secondly, here we go, guys. This is Edwin McCain. Oh yeah, that's
He's
Edwin
there.
McCain. Beautiful.
We're all gonna be dancing in the studio.
But at arm's reach.
Yeah, swaying, not touching.
Swaying. Exactly. You got to do the middle school dance. Yes. Edwin McCain, ladies and gentlemen,
he's flying in tomorrow.
Is flying in tomorrow. We're having dinner with him and the executives from FAE, and then we are going to do a podcast with Edwin McCain and FAE the following day.
He's in a mulching business.
He is.
He's got a mulching business running. I mean, he's a heck of a dude when you start following his past from where he went from singing out today.
Yeah.
Reborn Christian. Like, this dude he's really taking some huge steps right now.
But we are absolutely opening the podcast with that song. Like, that's going to be our intro song.
And we're going to either see the face turn like extremely red or a fucking smile.
Yes, it's going to be either really bad or really good.
Actually, we're going to see if we could get him to sing on the podcast.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so
I don't know that he brought. I have a guitar.
Oh yeah.
How awesome would it be
to get him to sign it and play it?
Oh, we could get him to sign it. That's a whole other thing. That'd be bad. I didn't even think about that, Rick.
Why not? We're in arm's reach of them.
Yeah, so Ryan just called it middle school dances. Exactly, middle school, because this is the other one, guys. This is the other one you may know.
It's freaking hilarious, but awesome.
Yes. It's so good. So that is Edwin McCain. And these are the moments.
Hopefully
I thank God that I'm alive.
Hopefully he's a champ about it all and wants to play along.
Yeah, we're really hoping that he's really cool, and we're not going to totally offend him because.
But we're going to ask him.
Like, we grew up in middle school when those songs dropped. Like, that's how old Rick and I are, and so, like, this is as soon as they said. So this is the way this all went down in Orlando. We talked to FAE. We talked to Giorgio, which is the
CEO,
the man of FAE, of FAE USA. And so he's like, yeah, we'd love to come up. We want to do a podcast with you guys in person. And we were like, absolutely, that'd be great. And so in an email, like 2 days, 3 days later, he's like, so it'll be myself, it'll be Lee, which is my VP, and Edwin McCain. And I was like,
that sounded familiar.
That name, like Edwin McCain, like that's not the 90s familiar. Singer, no way. So I go and look up Edwin McCain FAE, and come to find out it is the same Edwin McCain that I used to listen to in middle school and dream about having a girlfriend.
At arm's length.
At arm's length, yeah. Like you wanted a girlfriend to pass notes to.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted in middle school. Yeah. And then maybe she'd let you.
He was responsible
like
for
graze her boob.
Yeah.
Like accidentally while you were reaching for something. Like that.
Or he helped a lot of people create a lot of kids at the older age gap.
100. You know there was some banging going on to Edwin McCain. We should absolutely have him acknowledge that too.
So you know what? We'll just have Edwin McCain sign the Hitachi.
Oh,
that is a great.
And we could auction that baby off.
Strum it with the guitar.
Actually, you don't even have to strum. You just turn it on.
Turn it like a violin.
It's gonna get. Who knows where this podcast is gonna go?
But stay tuned for that, guys. The sky's the limit right now. We have been doing so much back behind the scenes. The season's kicking off. Work's getting crazy. The content's coming in. The jobs are, it's a little goofy right now. The jobs are a lot more heavy bidding than what they are coming in just due to the Russia-Ukraine kind of craziness
that's
right
put
now.
A huge damper in our residential stuff.
So we've had a lot of pullback. We're still getting some. We got a amazing barn demo to tear down, which will be fun. This is this old historic barn that's fallen down, so we'll be getting some cool shots of that. I mean, we'll see what else comes in. We got a lot of stuff on the books. But just so much stuff has changed from all the filming, the podcast, the workforce, the guys in the backyard that we're meeting. I mean, just good people all around. I mean, we're making a lot of waves. The waves are kind of crazy right now. So just so much stuff coming in that we're constantly doing that you don't see.
Yeah.
As you guys see, and it progresses over time and change, and the hard work's starting to pay off. So
let's just put it this way: we're on the cusp of some really big things happening for the channel, both from an opportunity standpoint, from an equipment standpoint, from a filming standpoint. There's a lot of really big things in the works. So yeah, definitely stay tuned.
We're headhunting now for a lot bigger jobs, a lot bigger projects for some of the people that we have kind of in our pocket that wants to play ball. We're in talks with, so we're trying to find the right job, the right match to get this all kind of come together. So there's a lot of work on the front end from Brian and I, even Totten. If you guys pay attention to the podcast, I mean, it's just clipping along right now. So we'll see where we're at by June, July, and I'm sure we'll shift gears all the way again. The content will be probably just pretty radical.
Yeah. Yep. So with that being said, Ryan, I did email Cutting Edge Engineering, and I've commented on a couple of their videos. I haven't heard back. I mean, that guy's getting flooded with so much crap. With a lot of these YouTube guys, that's honestly why I'm having such a hard time getting a hold of them, is because they get flooded with comments, they get flooded with emails, and I'm kind of part of the noise. So I'll continue to kind of probe and prod at them. And, you know, I don't want to be the guy that calls their place of business for a YouTube related thing, but at the end of the day, I'm a salesman, and I'm not necessarily above it. So we'll see what happens. But
gonna put those shoes back on, huh?
I may have to, because Cutting Edge Engineering, he's the machinist that I was telling you guys about when we first started up. Like, really awesome guy, and he's from Australia. He's in Australia. So it would be a
Okay.
really interesting conversation for a great multitude of reasons.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, so, oh, by the way, if you guys don't follow To The Top Crane on YouTube, he has agreed to come on the podcast. So hopefully here in the next month, we're going to get him on and we can start talking about the hoisting side of the industry. I know there's been a lot of questions about that side of the industry. That's really exciting. So all that to say, I know you guys have been going back and forth. Darren, we would absolutely come and run your mulcher and come play around with you as long as we're not paying out of pocket for that. But I doubt FAE is going to pay us to go up there. We'll see. Now you might get Edwin McCain.
I don't know. We got a bigger Hitachi
That's true. We do have a bigger Hitachi.
too.
Yeah. So anyway, but that being said, it's 9 o'clock, guys. So we are gonna wrap this baby up. Thank you guys all for watching. It's been a blast. It's been fun. We'll get Rick on here more often. I tell him all the time that you guys are asking about him.
We do.
We're getting it back on here. We will. So don't really want to flood emails. This is not my podcast. Yeah, so Ryan, flood it, man. Do what you can. The more people you can get over to the podcast, the better. We're trying to get more trades on there. Both of those guys would be really good. So all that to say, you guys have yourselves a lovely evening. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you guys next weekend. Yeah, I will be home. So yeah, next weekend I'll catch you. We'll see about Rick. We'll see, but I'll be here for sure.
We'll see,
Have a
guys.
good week, guys.